What's up YouTube, Dao here from Zephyr, and today I can bring you an update for Tenyi Swordsoul, or Swordsoul Tenyi, whichever way you want to go. Basically, Tenyi's got some brand new support, and of course, the best version of this particular type of deck is with Swordsoul, as that's really be able to get the most synergy and just utilize synchro plays to the max. Now, I'm highly tempted to be building a 60 card version of this deck, utilizing the Ryujis, just because I really like the Ryuji strategy. I thought I'd start off with a very basic 40 card version, just so you have a bit of an understanding of what the new cards offer to the Swordsoul strategy and just the worm strategy in general. So, with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more upcoming content. I'm going to take you through the profile, show you what we've got, and at the end of the video, I'll also show you a very basic combo of how you can utilize the brand new cards in Synergy with the deck to get you a very decent outgoal. So, diving headfirst into the profile, starting off with the Swordsoul lineup, which hasn't changed. It is pretty standard on this one. So, triple Ecclesia, because it can lead you into Mo Yi, and it can also lead you into Taya. Technically, it can also lead you into Long One as well, but you're not going to be able to spawn a token off of the back of that one as easily as the rest. You'd actually already need to have a token, or, of course, you can utilize the brand new Tenyi Spirit, which we'll talk about in a second. For the other Swordsoul cards, of course, we are playing triple emergence, because why not? You want to be searching out all your cards, you just get even more consistency. God, I remember the day when people said that this card needed to be limited. Yeah, that was a fun time when Swordsoul was meta. Anyway, moving on to the brand new Tenyi Spirit. Now, you could probably play this at 2. I'm testing it at 3 at the moment in time because I just love the card art and I love the card itself in general. Unfortunately, I was only able to pick up 1 from my sneak peek, but I will be able to pick up the final 2 shortly. But I'm going to be away next week, so I had to pre-record these, unfortunately. But I wanted to kind of showcase what they could do. Now, this brand new one, Yugioh, is absolutely insane. It's only like £10 for a secret, so I think you can very easily pick up a place of like 25 quid, maybe less. So it is a worm tuner and it is a effect monster, and if you control a worm monster or a face-up non-effect monster, you get to special this card from the hand. The best thing about this one is it says as long as you control a worm monster that is an effect monster, you special summon it, and all your Swordsouls are non-tuners. So it now no longer means you go normal summon Moyi, they go Veiler or Imperm, you go, can't get a token pass. You now just go, okay, cool, special summon down Saruya and just do the exact same combo anyway. The best thing about this is if it is sent to the graveyard as material for a worm synchro monster, which 99.99% of the time it will do, you get to special summon a Tenyi Link monster from your extra deck, but it cannot be used as Link material. Then you lose life points equal to its Link rating times 1,000. So the maximum you can lose would be 4,000, the minimum you lose is 1,000, and the idea is you're either going to put a non-effect monster on the board so you can start utilizing all of your other Tenyi banish effects, or of course you're just going to go all the way to the Link 4, hoping that once you put that Link 4 on the board, your opponent won't be able to break it, and you're just going to be able to push on from there. Obviously, these are hard once per turn, which is why you could arguably play a 2, and it is very easily searchable off of a Shuna. Because as long as you control no effect monsters, you get special on this card from the hand, same as all the other Tenyis. But you also get the ability to banish it from the hand or graveyard to special summon a Tenyi monster from the deck except itself. Now, ideally, I don't really want to be special summoning directly from the deck the Saruya. I'd rather special summon it from the hand. But of course, if I do special summon it from the deck off of the back of the Ashuna, because I need that level 4 tuner, of course, then I can special summon it from the hand when I get it later on. So you get a bit of swings and roundabouts. Then, of course, we've got 2 Vishuddhas, we've got the 2 Adharas, and then we've got the 1 Shafana. You can probably cut the Shafana if you want to, but there are times when a non-tuner level 4 does pop up, especially if your opponent gets rid of your Swordsoul monster and leaves you with a token, because then even if you summon down the Saruya, you're not going to be able to synchro into anything, so you're just going to be link climbing. So being able to get into the Shafana can actually give you a little bit more extension should you need to. And then, of course, the other tuners in the Tenyi kind of art type is Adhara, so it gives you the banish of what you need to, and it obviously lets you recycle your Saruya. But I'm not really, like I said, I actually want to hard open up the Saruya. If I hard open up multiples, it just sucks. But even then, I can still normal summon the Saruya and special summon one down. But that's not really what you want to be doing. It's just being able to open up your extender can cause a lot of issues for your opponent, because then it means that you can bait out your opponent for one of your searches for it, or you bait out your opponent's interaction on something like a Moyi or a Taya, and then you just swing into action with the Saruya as well. And then, of course, we've got the 1 Protoss, because you're going to be burning through different types and attributes. Different attributes with, like, the greatest of these. So, like, you've got Earths, you've got Lights, you've got Darks, you've got Fires. It's just absolutely insane how far you can go with this. And, of course, it's searchable off of the back of Emergence. And then for the other Tenyi cards, you do play the 1 Vessel and the 1 Heavenly Dragon Cycle. And the reason you're only going to be playing one of these now, and you can actually afford to cut them down, which is where a bit of space has been opened up, is because we're playing the Tenyi Affinity, which is the brand new field spell. So when this card is activated, you get to add a vessel or a heavenly cycle. Did it the other way around. A vessel or a heavenly cycle from the deck to the hand. You can tribute a worm monster and target a monster on the field and destroy it, so it gives you a nice aggressive option as well. You can only use each effect once per turn. And then once per turn during your end phase, you get to send this card to the graveyard, and if you do, you place a flawless perfection of the Tenyi from your deck or graveyard face up in the field zone. And the reason that you would do that is the flawless perfection of the Tenyi is all non-effect monsters on the field are unaffected by monster effects. And then once per turn, if your opponent specials an effect monster while you control a face down monster or a non-effect monster, you get to draw 2 cards. So you get that ability to go, okay, cool, special, draw. And that's going to give you the ability to just keep drawing and drawing and drawing and drawing, which is obviously a great success. But if you wanted to, you can cut out the Tenyifinity, and the reason that you could cut that out is because your Mula Adhara just searches you out any field spell in the entire game, which is broken. The worst thing about this is it's generic level 8. So if we ever got Mystic Mind back, this bloody thing could search it, and it's just generic level 8. Like, it should have been a worm tuner, and I would have been absolutely fine with it. I will show you some of the other field spells you can search off of the back of the Mula Adhara, which gives you a little bit more control. This one is just to kind of keep it within its realms of like, this is what these cards are meant to do. You're meant to get into Tenyifinity, you're meant to tag it out after you've used its effect to get you Vessel or Heavenly Cycles, to get you into a Flawless Perfection, and then you're just going to draw cards during your opponent's turn, and that's when you're going to be able to burn into your hand traps. And then, of course, we've got the 1 Blackout. And then for the hand traps of choice, I went with triple Infinite Impermanence, double Effect Veiler, because sometimes it can double up as a tuner that you might need. And then I decided to go with triple Book of Eclipse and triple Forbidden Droplet. Of course, you can sub these out for anything you want. Of course, there is no Ash Blossom in here, which is something you want to be trying to put in. But I kind of went with a more aggressive option because both of these cards help me go first or second. It gives me a bit more of a balance. And the Imperm and the Veilers are kind of like my pseudo hand traps that I want them to do exactly what I need them to do. Of course, add Ash Blossom in, bump the deck up to 45 cards if you really want to. Like I said, I'm massively tempted to play a 60 card version of this because once you add the Ryuji engine, you'll probably add in like another 10 cards on that, and then all that does is it gives you an extra 5 cards to put more hand traps in. So what you'd end up doing is you'd end up adding like 15 hand traps in, which is pretty much the standard, a 10 card Ryuji engine, then you've got a Tenyi's and a Swordsoul, so you're getting the balance of what you need. Moving on to the extra deck, of course, we do play the 1 Tenyi Spirit Mula Adhara. Again, sadly, no one actually pulled this as a sneak peek, which was unbelievable. So you definitely want to be playing one of this. I'd be highly tempted to get a QC because I love the artwork on this. So 1 tuner and 1 or more non-tuner monsters, and it is a level 8 synchro. And then if this card is synchro summoned, you get to, and 2 or more worm monsters are in the graveyard, which they probably will do because you're going to be using it to make worms. You just need to be very careful you don't make this with 1 Swordsoul in the token, because obviously the token doesn't go to the graveyard. You get to add any field spell from your deck to the hand. Now, obviously, what I mean by that it's generic is it's generic level 8, but if you can get 2 worms to the graveyard, that's absolutely insane. You just go, okay, cool, 2 worms to the graveyard, 2 banishment, I'm searching out any field spell I want. But then, once per turn, while a non-effect monster is face up on the field, this card gains the following effects. It can't be destroyed by opponent's card effects, your opponent cannot target it with card effects, and it can make a second attack during each battle phase. So it's just 3k attacking twice. So it is very aggressive, but defensively it also searches out any field spell. So the other field spells that I would highly advise you look into, that you could search out on this one that I've seen floating around, is you can search out Summon Breaker. So once you've already done your combo, you get into this, you search out Summon Breaker, you activate the Summon Breaker, and then if the turn player successfully conducts their 3rd summon of a monster, it becomes the end phase. So you can basically just turn skip your opponent, which is insane. The other card that you can look into is Necro Valley. So these are obviously going to be end of combo cards, because what you do is you're going to put these on the board. This is attacking twice already, and you're probably already going to back this up with a Yugioh, and you're going to be able to put in the game winner there, because that's 8-8 on board. Another thing that you might look into integrating with the deck is you can actually put in Secret Village of the Spellcasters. Now, the reason you would do this is rather than making a Yugioh off of your first play, you would actually go into like a level 8 Synchro Spellcaster if you wanted to, or you would try and work your way into a Link monster that is a Spellcaster, so any of the Charmers that fit the attributes. You just need to make sure that when you put a token on the board, you're locked into being able to only summon into worms. So once you get rid of that token, you're free real estate. So technically, if you summon a monk, you can actually put the monk into it and you go into the Earth Charmer. But the idea is you could actually search out Secret Village and kind of lock your opponent down that way as well. So there's loads of different field spells you can play around with. You can get for everyone you want to. They were just kind of like 3 of the top of the list ones you might want to be looking into that will give you a very nice option. And they're cards that I would very easily side in, because they're ones that once you've built your combo, you go, cool, search out field spell, and they're like, yeah, that's annoying. For the other Tenyis, we are playing 2 of the Monk. I think you can get away with 2 now. Of course, you could go up to 3 if you wanted to, because keeping in mind the Tsuruya will actually spawn one of this out. But the other card that we've kind of taken the spot of the 3rd one of this one is the Shah Sarara. Probably butchered that, but this is the Link 4. Now you can actually hard summon this one absolutely fine, but the benefit of this one is actually you can spawn it out for 4,000 life points. It might seem costly, but if you feel that that 4,000 life points is going to stop your opponent playing, you go for it. So while you control a face-up non-effect monster, monsters your opponent controls cannot target effect monsters on the field for attacks. Also, your opponent cannot target effect monsters you control with effects on the field with card effects. You get a quick effect to target an effect monster your opponent controls, and you special summon a Tenyi Spirit token, Worm, Light, level 4, question mark attack, and 0 defense. This token's attack becomes that targeted monster's original attack. So the benefit of that one is that spawns you a non-effect monster. So it's just like a really kind of cool Link monster that's just going to be able to go, okay, cool, spawn a big fat off token. All my stuff can't be targeted, some of it can't be attacked, and this is a 3k boss monster. Of course, you've got your standard Link 2 in the form of Shaman of the Tenyi. Working our way up from the lower levels, we are playing the one Yazi, Evil of the Yangzing, followed up by double Baxia, pretty standard, and the one Chao Feng to deal with Nibiru. Now, of course, one card that I would highly advise, again, looking to try and find space for is the SP Little Knight. There is a card at the end that I'll show you that I decided to go for instead of the SP Little Knight, because I feel everything else I'm going to show you is pretty standard. So the other Synchro Tenyi that I kind of overlooked is the Draco Berserker of the Tenyi, and then for your Sword Souls, you've got 2 Yugioh, 1 Chenying, and 1 Quinlong. And then the last card that I chose to go for, because I think it actually has a really good matchup against Malice, is the Ice Jade Gimir Argerine. So this one requires a Water Tuner, and it's a level 10. But you get a quick effect. You can activate this effect. Face-up monsters you control cannot be destroyed or banished by your opponent's card effects this turn, which means when your Malice is trying to double banish you off of the back of the MTP07, and of course off the back of Heart Scriptor, they can't do it. The best thing is, if you activate this card in a response to your opponent's card or effect, so the trap card or the Heart Scriptor, and your opponent has a card or cards with that name on their field and or in their graveyard, you get to banish those cards. You just banish their Heart Scriptor, and the chances are that when they've brought the Heart Scriptor back to the board, they would have brought it back after already banishing it, so it won't be able to come back that entire turn. And then if a card or cards is banished by your opponent's card effect, while this card is in the graveyard, you get to special summon this card back. So a lot of people forget about that, and this card can float around and cause them a lot of issues, which is really, really annoying. So it's just kind of a cool card that I thought a lot of people kind of undervalued. A massive shout out to Rob. He was the one that introduced this to me during Kashtira format, and this was a pain in the ass to deal with Fenrir, because you just couldn't get rid of it. So with the right setup, it was really annoying to deal with. So the other card that I would highly advise you, like I already mentioned, is SP Little Knight. It's definitely something you're going to want to look into for putting into the deck to kind of give you those different options. But it's for now, I feel that the Ice Jade is just something that is going to be a little bit more unknown, a little bit more uncommon, and can really cause your opponents a lot of issues, because the generic, it deals with SP Little Knight. The ungeneric, it's just really good in a Malice matchup, and it's a cool option to have. So that's it. Hello. That's it for the entire profile. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset the board state, and I'm going to show you a very basic combo to kind of get you going with the deck, to show you how the Sword Souls and the Tenyis, and mainly the new cards, synergize so well together. So I'll be back in a second. Here is the very basic 2-card combo. Now, what I wanted to show in this combo is the utilization of every single one of the brand new cards. So we're going to go through the Saruya, we're going to go through the Field Spell, and we're also going to go through the Mula Adhara. Now, you can adapt these combos as you see fit. If you want to protect from Nibiru, you can go down a Chao Feng route. There are different combos that will give you different outcomes. I just wanted to highlight all of the brand new cards in one combo so you can see what they add to the deck. So you're going to start off by special summoning down the Ashuna, and you're going to turn this into the Monk of the Tenyi. You then special summon down the Saruya because you control a non-effect monster, or technically a worm monster, to get you everything you need. You're then going to be able to banish the Ashuna from the graveyard, which will allow you to get the Shafara from the deck, which means you've now got instant access for a Synchro level 8, which will of course be your Yugioh. Go Chaining 1 Yugioh, Chaining 2 Saruya, which will allow you to protect this from Ash Blossom, which will allow you to either spawn a second Monk. You can go 2,000 life points and summon out the Shaman, but we're just going to go all out and pay 4,000 life points to summon out the Shashara, and this is just going to give us a bit more protection during our opponent's turn. Resolve the Yugioh, grabbing you the Emergence, and then activate the Emergence to grab you the Tyre. Normal summon down the Tyre, as yes, believe it or not, we haven't used our normal summon yet. Use Tyre's effect to banish the Emergence from the graveyard to spawn you a Swordsoul token. Then synchro the Tyre plus the Swordsoul token to get you into the brand new Tenyi Spirit Mula Adhara. Now what you're going to do is you're going to go Chaining 1 Adhara, Chaining 2 the Tyre, as it's a little bit more important to get you the Field Spell than it is to get the Foolish Burial of the Tyre. So Tyre will send the Adhara to the graveyard, and the reason you're going to do that is that's just going to give you the fodder to allow you to recycle your Ashuna, so you've got a follow-up for the next turn. Then, of course, your Mulo will grab you any field spell. In this one, I'm just going to show you what happens when you add the Tenyi Affinity to give you a little bit more, but you can very easily just go down the Secret Village route. You can go down the Necro Valley route if you wanted to and just end your board here. Keep in mind, if you go for the Necro Valley, this isn't going to be able to activate, so that's one thing you're going to need to keep in mind. So that's probably where you'd go down a different route for that, but that's just something you need to think about. So then what we're going to do here is we're going to activate the Tenyi Affinity. This is going to allow you to grab the Heavenly Dragon Cycles or Vessel. I'm personally going for the Cycle because this is going to allow me to get Protoss in rotation. Before we activate the Cycle, make sure you banish the Adhara before you get rid of your non-effect, and this will allow you to add the Ashuna back to the hand. So you've got that follow-up alongside the remaining 3 cards in your hand as well. So you've basically replenished your hand as it currently stands. Then what you're going to do is you're going to activate your Heavenly Dragon Cycle. You're going to tribute off your Monk. Now, of course, you can tribute off anything else, but these are a little bit more beneficial being on the board for you. And you can special summon the monster from the deck because you attributed a non-effect, but it will have its effects negated. And honestly, there's nothing we want to be summoning to this board right now, unless you have another form of extension that you started your hand off with, something like a Vishuda. So we're going to be going and grabbing ourselves an Arch Nemesis Protoss. You're then going to be able to summon down the Protoss by banishing 3 different attributes from the graveyard, and you've got 4. You've got light, you've got water, you've got wind, and you've got earth. Personally, I quite like leaving the water in here because when I spawn a token off of the Shashara and then move into my next turn, I can turn that token into the Monk of the Tenyi if I wanted to, crash with the Monk of the Tenyi, bring it back, and then the Shafara will pop in retaliation. So it gives you a little bit more of aggression. Not that you need it, but of all the other cards you could leave in here, this is probably the best one to do, in my opinion. So we're going to keep that in there. We're going to banish these. We're going to summon out the Protoss. We'll then use Protoss' effect Cooling Dark, which means all of these are absolutely safe. Plus, as well, with the Yugioh, you want to make sure you leave a worm in the graveyard, so you still got what you need. On top of that, as we move into our end phase, we'll now use the Tenyi Affinity to tag itself out in order to grab you the Flawless Perfection of the Tenyi. You've still got 3 unknown cards in your hand, plus the Ashunis you've recycled. And the one big thing that you need to remember is that you're going to need your opponent to summon a monster first so that you can clone a token of it off the back of the Shisara, which then means Flawless Perfection is now live. Now, the chances are they're going to have to normal summon or at least special summon 1 monster in order to get that going. You do that, you copy, you do what you need to, and then the first time they special summon, you go, okay, cool. Flawless Perfection of the Tenyi, draw me 2 brand new cards. Now, obviously, this is the greedy route of the field spell because this is one where you want to get the draws and that's where your hand traps are going to be a bit more prominent. In an ideal scenario, you're probably going to go something for like a Summon Breaker because then your opponent just goes, okay, well, you don't have a Protoss, but you still have the 3 more cards in the hand. You still got the recycled Ashuna. You still have a Monk on the board. And then this would be something like your Summon Breaker. And you're basically saying to your opponent, okay, cool. You summon twice, it's going to the end phase of your turn. And at this exact moment in time, as soon as you summon 3 times, it's going to go to the end of your turn. You've got to deal with a Yugioh already, so that's 1 negate, so that's a 1-for-1. And then if you summon again, I've got the ability, or even if you summon the first time, I've got the ability to token clone. And then on your 3rd summon, you need to get into a Nightmare Phoenix, or a 2nd summon, you've got to get to a Nightmare Phoenix to get rid of this. Or as soon as you've made that 3rd summon, it's going to come back to me. I've got 2 attacks off of this. I've got the token to attack. I've got this to attack, this to attack, and this to attack, plus my entire hand. And remember, because I control a non-effect monster, I can banish the Ashuna from the hand to summon a Tenyi from the deck. So this is a level 4. The token will be a level 4 light non-tuner. So I just go, okay, cool. Summon out the brand new Sarai again. And then I can just make, so that's summon number 1. Synchro this with the token for summon number 2. Lets me go into any level 8 synchro monster I want. So I can go Baxia. Spin back the 2 monsters they just put on the board, and then battle phase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Game. So you've got loads to kind of work around with, depending on the type of route you want to go, and you're putting them under Summon Breaker, which can be massively, massively damaging. So there's loads of different options. That's what I really love about the new cards. I love the artwork of this card as well. If the quarter centuries were a little bit cheaper, I might consider them. This is only a cheap quarter century. I think it's like something like £50 on tier 0 games, so I'm highly tempted to pick that up in quarter century rather than working into an ultra. But I just love the artwork on this one. I love like the pastel drawing of the Tenyi in the background. I love the moon and how it just kind of, I like the colours as well. It's not basic colours. There's like yellows, whites, blues, reds, greens. It just really, really pops. So yeah, I digress, but I love artwork when it's done right and it's appreciated. Anyway, even the artwork on this is sick as well. Like 10 out of 10 Konami. You did really well with the Tenyi support. Anyway, for now, thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, share. If you have any questions, by all means, please put in the comments down below. I will be more than happy to answer them. If I do finish cooking and get the 60-card version of this with the Ryujis together, then you bet your bottom dollar I will bring you that profile. But for now, Hopefully this kind of quenches your thirst for Sword Souls. If you do get the video above 50 likes, I'm going to have no excuse not to do a 60 card version. So, you know what you need to do in order to get that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, as absolutely always, stay safe and, of course, happy dueling.